Dillian the Body Snatcher White here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Right, article here, and I'll put it in the description box as always for you guys to go have a read. And this article starts off with Josh Warrington talking about Kid Galahad. But the bit that I want to talk about is Dominic Breazeale. He's kind of giving the impression that he is up for fighting Dillian Whyte, but at the same time, he's kind of not. And I'll get straight into his statement. So this is Dominic Breazeale's statement. People have talked about me versus Whyte for a while. I'm a fan-pleasing type of guy. So if that's what the fans want to see, I'm all for it. At the same time, I'm not going to pass up opportunities to fight for the WBC title to go down there and fight Dillian Whyte. I hope he does make some kind of deal. He can come here to the United States and he can get all he wants of Dominic Breazeale. So that is Dominic Breazeale's statement. So, as we know, April the 20th at the O2 Arena in London, UK, is already booked for Dillian Whyte. Well, I say it's already booked for Dillian Whyte. It's booked with the hope that Dillian Whyte will headline it. And as I said before, I do believe that Eddie Hearn will push for Alexander Povetkin because he's already promised Alexander Povetkin a fight on one of his cards around that time. That's why I believe that Eddie Hearn will push for that one. But me, you, a lot of us would love the Dominic Breazeale fight. Not because it's a great fight or anything like that. I mean, Dillian Whyte versus Povetkin or Dillian Whyte versus Luis Ortiz is probably a better fight, to be fair, and a more interesting one. But at the same time, they do nothing for Dillian Whyte's career. Dominic Breazeale does. If he fights and defeats Dominic Breazeale, he then becomes the WBC mandatory, which means he's then in line to take on the winner of Wilder versus Fury next, which is the ideal situation for Dillian Whyte, right? But Dillian Whyte, listen, as I said, he knows that April 20th is booked for him. The O2 Arena has become his home and he would love to get Dominic Breazeale over. But it does appear, according to Dominic Breazeale's statement, that he's not willing to risk his WBC position right now because as of right now, he's in line to fight the winner of Wilder versus Fury. So for him to risk it, he's saying if Dillian Whyte wants it, then Dillian Whyte is going to have to come to America. Now, I don't think that Dillian Whyte is against going there, not at all. But I do believe that Eddie Hearn will push for the Povetkin fight to keep a fight here in the UK because it's pay-per-view. Dillian Whyte is a pay-per-view fighter now. But for him to say that I'm not going to pass up opportunities to fight for the WBC, that kind of signals to me that the only way that he's actually going to risk his position is if it's a crazy offer. And who knows what that offer could possibly be. Of course, they're probably going to have to make Dominic Breazeale the A-side in that fight anyway, even though financially and everything thrown in, Dillian Whyte is probably the A-side by quite some distance, you would imagine. But the reality is, if Dillian Whyte wants to become the mandatory, he's going to have to give up and concede on a lot of terms with Dominic Breazeale. But Dominic Breazeale has been very, very inactive. In fact, he's had one fight against Carlos Negron in 14 months. So he's been mandatory for 14 months. And Wilder hasn't given him his shot yet. Of course, he wants Wilder anyway because of what happened in Alabama about 2 years ago or thereabouts when Dominic Breazeale, he fought Izzy Ugonu. And straight after, when Deontay Wilder fought Joe Washington, he's cheering on Joe Washington. Joe Washington, he spars with him. He knows Joe Washington. That's his friend of sorts. And because of that, Marcellus Wilder, Deontay Wilder's brother, got the ump about it and started mouthing off at Dominic Breazeale. Dominic Breazeale goes back to the hotel lobby with his wife, with his children, and then Marcellus Wilder and Deontay Wilder joins in, plus a whole group of their goons started taking pot shots at Dominic Breazeale in front of his family. So, of course, he wants to get Wilder to teach him a lesson. Okay, so we get that. So if that fight did happen, that would be an interesting one just to see how Dominic Breazeale reacts in the ring to him. But ultimately, for now, listen, Dominic Breazeale has given the impression that he's quite happy to sit around and wait. But he is saying that if Dillian Whyte wants the fight, and if the fans want the fight, then he's willing to do it. But he's mentioning the United States. Whereas a couple of months ago, he was talking about potentially coming to the UK again. But, of course, now he wants the United States. So this already is putting up a couple of barriers of what it is that I'm seeing. And as I said, this is probably music to the ears of Eddie Hearn. To be real, it's because does he want Dillian Whyte versus Dominic Breazeale? Probably yes, because it does give Dillian Whyte the opportunity to fight the winner of Wilder Fury. But at the same time, he needs to keep World of Boxing Andrei Ryabinski happy, and that means putting Alexander Povetkin in a headline pay-per-view fight against Dillian Whyte. So he'd probably prefer that one. So what Dominic Breazeale saying here about going to America, he knows that Dillian Whyte is probably, as much as he probably is up for it, he's probably more reluctant to do that, as they've already got April 20th booked, and Eddie Hearn will probably use that to his favour to get the Povetkin fight. But hopefully, they can come to some kind of deal, some kind of arrangement, and Dillian Whyte and Dominic Breazeale can get it on, whether it's UK, whether it's America, wherever it may be. They need to do this, and it's a good opportunity as well for Eddie Hearn to get Dillian Whyte over to America, because at the minute, because Dillian Whyte's been speaking to the PBC, Al Heyman, he's been speaking to Bob Arum and others over there, he seems to have gained a little bit of popularity in America. So to put him on in an American ring, especially as a headliner, will probably do quite well. I think that a lot of the Americans will be tuning in to watch Dillian Whyte. How popular is Dominic Breazeale in America? I don't believe he's that popular, but listen, who knows? Who knows? But anyway, so this is Dominic Breazeale's statement. As I said, article in the description box for you all to go have a read. Come to your own thoughts about it. I mean, maybe I'm way off on my thoughts of it, so obviously drop me yours. Click the thumbs up to this video, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.